guys, I hope your week is going well. It is early morning here and I just finished what has to be one of the most complicated skincare routines I ever could have imagined myself doing. And I have been trying this out for quite some time, sort of behind the scenes, in anticipation of this video, and I have to say I've really actually been very happy with the outcome, so I'm excited to share it with you. Today I'm going to be reviewing and sharing my experience with a Korean skincare brand called Pyunkang Yul. You guys have asked me to review many of their products, the brand, etc. So I have been looking into this for quite some time now and I'm stoked to share it with you. I think you guys brought it to my attention, I want to say maybe this past summer in 2018. You all know I have done quite a bit of dabbling in K-beauty. I am a fan of many of the CosRX products. I am a fan of many of the Atuo House products. And so I was really stoked for this brand that you guys brought to my attention. If you're not familiar, Pyunkang Yul is, I guess, a medical clinic in Korea, that this line was born out of. And the entire line of skincare products operates on the principle of really aiding your skin in functioning optimally on its own, which appeals to me. This routine and this approach, however, is a bit involved and complicated. And so, all right, getting into this review, just a little backstory. I went into this wanting no outside influences. I looked at the ingredient list of all of the products and developed what I will call the Korean 7-step skincare routine Dr. Dray style. So I did this based on kind of how I thought these products would perform optimally and how I thought they would best be used. I didn't watch any videos, I didn't read any blogs or anything out there. I didn't want anything clouding my experience. And I developed this routine, which I'll share with you guys. And I have to say, my routine, the way I've been doing it, I have really been liking the results. I've really been happy with what I've been seeing. So after using this routine and doing this routine and being ecstatic and pleased with myself, I then go and watch some of the videos, read more on different websites and blogs, and I'm doing a lot of the things, quote, wrong, but I'll share with you guys my approach, and you can chime in below as to what you think. I'll also review some other products that I'm not using in the 7-step routine that I tried and my thoughts on those. And I approached this routine with sort of 3 specific aims. Sounds like a NIH grant. Comment below, and if you've ever written your own NIH grant, you could spend an entire year wording and reworking the wording of your specific aims. It's a pain. But anyway, so the first aim of the skincare routine is to prep the skin to optimally receive subsequent ingredients that will aid the skin in barrier repair and optimal function. And then the second part of the routine, after doing that, involves the sequential application of humectants in a layered approach based on increasing viscosity. So most watery to least watery. Then the third aim is to layer on sequentially occlusive moisturizers in increasing order of occlusivity. All right, so we're building up onto a prepared skin barrier humectants in a graded fashion towards increasing viscosity, and then we're subsequently layering on occlusives as well. I did use 7 steps in this routine, but I did it in the morning, so my final step was actually my sunscreen, so it's technically 8 steps, all right? So let's get into the routine as would be done in the morning, and I'll talk you guys through what I did. The first thing in the morning to a dry face is the peeling gel. The peeling gel is a really interesting product, I have to say. Its principal ingredient is essentially propylene glycol. Propylene glycol is an ingredient that you will find in many skincare products. You will find it in prescription topical drugs like tretinoin. It is referred to as a penetration enhancer, meaning it helps active ingredients penetrate into the stratum corneum much better than vehicles without propylene glycol. It also is a humectant, meaning it helps to draw water into the top layer of the skin. It also acts as kind of a degreasing agent. It helps to remove excess sebum and oil from the surface of the skin. And this product's really interesting in that it is basically a vehicle, a propylene glycol vehicle. All right, it doesn't have really any active ingredients in it. The active ingredient is typically an inactive ingredient, propylene glycol. Do know that propylene glycol, while it is a humectant, while it is frequently present in many things, do know that people can become allergic to propylene glycol. So if that's you, stay away from this. But I put this on to a dry face and kind of oily, acne-prone areas to start out with, sparing the areas around my eyes. It goes on just like, almost like a mask. And it's interesting in that you put it on, but it kind of almost rubs up off the skin, almost beads up off the skin. So put it on in those areas, and that's really going to basically act almost like what you would be hoping to achieve with if you use like witch hazel or an astringent in the morning to decrease your face. If you will recall back to my oily skincare routine video, I showed how one might incorporate an astringent like witch hazel as a degreasing agent. But then the second step is to wash off the propylene glycol penetration enhancing monolayer. You don't want to leave that on the skin, all right? And to do that, I used the Acne Facial Cleanser. This cleanser is really interesting. It has Centella asiatica in it, or Gotu Kola, which I've talked about on here before in my BioClarity mask review. That Gotu Kola has been shown to be helpful for wound healing and has a variety of anti-inflammatory properties. Appears to be very well tolerated. This also contains licorice root extract in it. Licorice roots and licorice extracts derived from licorice roots have glabridins in them. They have licurtins in them, and these compounds function as botanical brighteners and cosmeceuticals. They also are anti-inflammatory, so great for redness. And then this product also contains willow bark extract. I've talked about willow bark extract. It is not the same as salicylic acid, okay, but it is anti-inflammatory and can be soothing. And then this product also has rosemary extract. Many of their products have rosemary extract, and here's where things get a little tricky. The products are labeled as fragrance-free, or many of them are claimed to not have fragrance. Rosemary, I was like, well, is that fragrancy? And I looked into the rates and tried to find some information on allergic contact dermatitis to rosemary. And it can in fact occur, but the incidence of rosemary allergic contact dermatitis is very, very low. The allergen in rosemary extract is carnosol. It's not a common cause, though, of allergic contact dermatitis. It is a common ingredient in a lot of folk medicine, and it's used as a flavorant and as a preservative. I believe it has antimicrobial properties. This face wash also has a variety of other root extracts in it, Scutellarian root extract and Cuspitatum root extract. These root extracts are really a cornerstone of a lot of traditional medicine, and they are rich in antioxidants and a variety of bioactive compounds. They are not super well studied, okay? And that holds true for all of the ingredients in these products that are in the category of traditional medicine. They're not super well studied. So what that means is that when you guys ask me, is this product going to be good for sensitive skin or rosacea prone skin, I can't give you an objective evidence-based answer. So do know that going in, but these root extracts, they're not really reports that I can find in the medical literature of problems to them. It certainly is possible. They have many biological compounds. Anything is possible. Anyways, this particular cleanser, being the second step, is really an interesting consistency. It's kind of like almost like a slime-like consistency. I don't know if you can see it here. Very gentle going on. The pH of the cleansers that this brand makes is a little on the alkaline side, is my understanding after watching other videos. And so, I've mentioned in my videos before that cleansers ideally should be around a pH of 5.5 to 6.5, give or take. And I think someone I heard mention that one of these cleansers was more of a pH of 7, and I imagine that's due to the root extracts. The root extracts are I would imagine are more alkaline. That being said, I didn't find this particularly drying or irritating, but do be aware of that. The pH is probably not as ideal as I would like. I'm not entirely sure though. Suffice it to say, this does a fine job removing the propylene glycol layer. Went ahead and rinsed that off. All right, so steps 1 and steps 2 are preparing the skin barrier to receive the humectant steps, okay, which is going to aid in bringing water into the stratum corneum, into the epidermis, hydrating the skin, and really kicking off good solid barrier repair. Now here's where I differ from most skincare routines you will see. People will tell you to pat dry the face. At this point, you actually want to, in my approach, go about this onto a damp face after you have rinsed. Not completely soaking wet, but just damp. But I maintain that humectants should be applied to a damp skin to capitalize on that water on the skin and trap it there and optimally hydrate the skin. If you just put this onto completely dry skin, it's going to function less optimally. You want to capture that water before it evaporates up off of the skin. No, the skin should not be soaking wet, but lightly damp. All right, so for step 3, this is probably one of their most popular products. It is the Essence Toner. The Essence Toner has astragalus membrane root extract as its active ingredient. And astragalus is an adaptogenic root that has been used in traditional medicine for eons. It contains over 200 biologically active compounds, polysaccharides, flavonoids, and a variety of compounds that are of interest in skin health and skin biology, as they have been shown to be UV absorbers, so potentially helpful in blocking some damaging effects of UV rays. But none of that has been substantiated clinically, okay? So there's that caveat, as with all of these products, and I can't say who this is going to be good for and bad for, because I don't have any clinical studies to back it up, all right? I'm just going in blind here. But this is a watery vehicle. Here's another point in which I differ quite a bit from most people out there. They will tell you to put this onto a cotton swab and wipe it onto the skin. I personally just put a few 2 or 3 drops of this into my palm, and then I sweep it on evenly to all surfaces of my face. But rather than using this on a cotton pad, I just put a few drops of it into my palms and sweep it across the face in an even layer. This particular product is the most watery of all of the humectants, okay? There is no occlusive ingredient in this. This is a liquid. This is a complete liquid, very watery, and it is very low viscosity. And the astragalus root in this, with all of this polysaccharide compounds, is going to be a humectant by and large. Most watery, and therefore it is the first step of the humectant step. So the third step overall. I will list all of this down below, by the way. Step number 4 is the Acne cream. Unlike the Essence Toner, this is more of a lightweight gel consistency of a medium viscosity. So this is step number 4. This product I really have enjoyed. I have definitely seen benefits when I use this in this routine or in more minimalistic routines using largely this. This product has green tea extract in it, which can be helpful for acne, can be helpful for diminishing the appearance of pores. It also contains the licorice root extract in it, which, as I said, is anti-inflammatory, can be helpful for redness. This, like the other products, has the rosemary extract in it. I already mentioned the issue potentially there. This product also contains forsythia fruit extract. Again, can't comment on how that might act as a fragrance, what fragrance allergens that might contain, even if it is a fruit extract. And non-fragrant, it still can contain fragrance allergens potentially. So I can't comment on that for this, because to be honest with you, I don't see any reports of that specific ingredient in the medical literature. And this product also has copper tripeptides in it. I've mentioned peptides function well as humectants. Again, no occlusive ingredient in this, so it needs an occlusive moisturizer on top. And if you're puzzled by that, check out some of my videos on moisturizers. I talk about how humectants used alone actually can worsen transepidermal water loss, and that you need that you need a corresponding occlusive overlay, which we will get into. All right, but moving right along, step number 5 is the, and this is again where I differ a lot from the other routines. I go ahead and bring this bad boy in kind of in the middle. Most people do it, I believe, at the end. And that is the Moisture Ampule. I think I'm saying that correct. The Moisture Ampule is a super viscous humectant. It is the consistency of honey. But anyways, this is another root extract, Coptis japonica root extract. Again, another root extract, very, very commonly used in traditional medicine. It is from the gold thread, and as far as what I could find on it, it is rich in compounds known as alkaloid berberines, which actually have been shown in small laboratory studies to function as antibiotics, antimicrobials. So potentially, you know, theoretically, I guess, could be helpful for things like inflammatory skin diseases. But again, no evidence there, you know, substantial evidence for its clinical utility in things like acne and rosacea. All right, but this is super viscous, and most people just use a little bit of this and dab it all over the face, but yours truly went big. I piped this onto my face rather than putting a little bit on my palms and patting it in like everyone else. I piped this onto my face almost like caulking. I put it on my upper cheeks, my forehead, my nose, and then I rubbed it into an even monolayer onto my entire face. In watching other people's routines, maybe that was a little aggressive, but I have to say, this product I really love. It really brightens up the face substantially. I imagine by and large that is really just due to optical illusion, in that it creates a thick, bright layer on the surface of the skin that scatters light. All right, so that was step number 5. Now the next 2 steps are moving on to aim 3, which is to come on with sequential occlusive moisturizers. And the first moisturizer is the Atuo Cream Blue Label. This looks like a little pill. I love this. This is one of my favorite products in the line. This is a lightweight moisturizer that contains ceramides in it. It has shea butter in it. I talked about shea butter in my review of Dr. Sam's moisturizer. Shea butter is rich in fatty acids, stearic acid. This also has macadamia seed oil in it, so if you have a nut allergy problem with macadamia, you might want to be avoidant of that. And then it also has beta-glucans derived from yeast extract or yeast beta-glucans. Beta-glucans are wonderful humectants, but this also has corresponding occlusives from the shea butter. So this is a lightweight lotion moisturizer. This is something that could be used by itself. It could be used by itself for somebody with oily, acne-prone skin that doesn't need a lot of hydration because it's pretty lightweight. This is not the type of thing that's going to feel heavy. This is akin to, as far as consistency and appeal, to maybe the Differin facial moisturizer that comes with Differin, or the Neutrogena oil-free moisturizer. It's got some very logical ingredients, similar to using like CeraVe lotion on your face instead of CeraVe cream, and then it has the ceramides in it. And then the 7th step is the most occlusive moisturizer, and they actually have 2, and I've tried both of them. They have a nutrition cream and they have a moisture cream. And the 2 creams differ basically in the root extract that is used and the oil. But both are wonderful, occlusive, shea butter based moisturizers. They don't have, I believe, they do not have the rosemary extract. If you are looking for a great moisturizer, by the way, just a heavy duty shea butter based moisturizer, these are really wonderful. Don't have any fragrance, and I have really enjoyed both of these. This is the final step, and really what this does is to make a nice seal on the skin. The occlusive shea butter in there will really just seal everything on there. The moisture cream has jojoba oil in it, which has been shown to be great for eczema prone skin, and it also has, as its root, it has Coptis japonica root. Then the nutrition cream differs in that, and it has macadamia seed oil instead of jojoba oil. It has astragalus root extract instead of the Coptis japonica, and it has again, like the moisture cream, it has shea butter in it. So I like both of these equally well. I didn't notice that one was substantially different from the other. They come in a jar and have this little scoopy doodle to come out, but yeah, these are wonderful moisturizers to use as the final ingredient to seal everything in. And so that is how I used it, but I noticed that in a lot of other people's routines, they use the ampule last, but to me, this is by and large a humectant. It's the consistency of honey. Honey is a humectant. The root extracts, by and large, with their polysaccharide component, have humectants. There's nothing in this that is an occlusive. So I never tried this as a final step, so I shouldn't really jump to conclusions too much. But based on the ingredients, I would imagine that would leave the skin a little sticky and tacky. But then again, they used a much more conservative amount than I did. I piped quite a bit on my face. All right, so that's my 7-step skincare routine. I'm showing you this in the morning. And so what I then do, if done in the morning, is allow all of that to set up and to dry. It actually doesn't take very long, believe it or not, despite all of those layers of humectant and moisturizer. You would think, oh my gosh, you've got this heavy, sticky layer on. It doesn't take very long to dry, but doing this does add a lot of time to your morning routine. So you gotta wake up really early. Allow it to fully dry, and then I came on top. I have a new bottle here of the Elta MD UV Sport. You guys know this is my favorite, one of my favorite sunscreens to wear every day. I put this on to my entire face on top of all of this, and it went on just as it normally does with no problem, no pilling up, nice even monolayer, and then dried. No, it didn't make me look greasy or shiny. I don't know if it's because of the peeling step and degreasing my face, but wearing this after the 7 steps, I had much less of that greasy shine with this particular sunscreen. So it actually made the sunscreen look better on my face and set up just fine onto the dry skin. All right, so that's how I did it in the morning. You know, sun protection is key. You can't leave that out. But I would just wait for all of this to dry before you go putting the sunscreen on. And the reason being that if you put this on to this while it's still damp or wet or not fully set up or absorbed into the skin, is that this is going to not apply evenly and get kind of diluted out potentially by some of that. So just allow it to fully dry. Doing this at nighttime gets a little bit more tricky for me, and in talking to you guys about it, in that I use tretinoin every night to my face. That is my, you know, a cornerstone of my skincare routine, and has been for a full year I've been using it. Doing this at night gets a little complicated because I can't speak as to how the all of these root extracts layered on top of one another affect the penetration of the tretinoin. I imagine using the propylene glycol peeling step enhances the penetration of tretinoin for sure. But I can't comment on like the ampule, for example. This is pretty thick, especially the way I put it on. And I'd be nervous to tell you to put it on over tretinoin, that you might smear the tretinoin around and make for patchy application. So the way that I use this with tretinoin is to not do the entire 7-step routine. I did the peeling step number 1, step number 2, washing it off. And then I did the final step, which is one of the shea butter creams, either the nutrition or the moisture, and that is it. Alternatively, instead of one of the thicker creams, if you wanted a more lightweight one, you could do the lotion, this one, the pill. So yeah, that's my 7-step routine, and all right, I've got to tell you guys, I was taken aback using these products by the degree of skin brightening that I get in doing this routine. Everything in my skin seems more hydrated. It's almost as if, you know, I don't want to say glass skin, but that is exactly what my skin looks like doing this routine. It really, really does make a huge difference in the appearance of your skin. And I've really been happy with it. It definitely hydrates up the stratum corneum. It smooths out uneven surfaces. You know, if you have wrinkles and fine lines and saggy skin, this really plumps up the skin, brightens the skin quite a bit, just creating an optical illusion of the scattering of light. You will be surprised. I mean, it looks like your skin, at least my experience doing this, my skin, there's a striking difference. It's almost as if I have taken some kind of blur tool on my skin, like I photoshopped my face. It really smooths everything out and blurs everything out. Just by hydrating up the stratum corneum through that sequential layering of humectants, it really creates that optical illusion of brightening things up. And I really have a lot of confidence in many of the active ingredients like the green tea, the licorice root extract. I really think that they are functional. I definitely see a brightening effect. I see a smoothing effect, a hydrating effect, a plumping effect. I am not even bothered by the appearance of pores on my face, but you know, everybody has pilosebaceous units on their skin. They're very important for skin health, as I've talked about. They virtually disappear doing this routine. I don't want to, you know, get you too excited, but they are, you know, the layering of humectants and moisturizers, you know, nicely just starts to camouflage that. Some of the other products that I used, I tried a lot. I also tried their cleansing foam. This has fragrance in it, so that's not great. But the consistency of this, I'll insert a clip here of me washing my face with this. You know, objectively, I can't recommend it, but subjectively, oh, you're gonna like it if you use it. It is probably one of the nicest, like, face washing experiences I've ever had. It's like, I don't know, it's like almost the consistency of shaving cream all over your face. Oh, it's so nice. Like, it feels really good. This, I believe, is one of the cleansers, though, that was mentioned as having a more alkaline pH. I didn't feel like my skin was dry or irritated after using this, but I don't recommend it. Alkaline pH, fragrance, you know, not a good choice. But, side note, I really liked using it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was nice. You probably would like it, too. It felt really good, but buyer beware. It can be problematic. All right, and then the other two products that I tried and can't recommend because they have fragrance in them are the body lotion and the body cream. These are both versions of the same thing. One is a lotion and one is a cream. So one is more lightweight than the other. You can see the cream here. But I tried out both of these products to my body as just moisturizers, and, you know, side note, of course, subjectively, I really like them, but they have fragrance in them, so would never be recommended to somebody with eczema or sensitive skin or anybody coping with some sort of mystery rash. Would definitely be told, avoid anything with fragrance. So can't recommend these strongly, but that being said, my subjective experience, I did like them. I felt like they did a nice job as moisturizers, and I actually really liked the fragrance. It smells kind of like a spa. It's got a light lemony scent to it, but yeah, fragrance and skincare products, not good. So don't recommend those, but I did like them. Okay. The other and then the last product that I will talk about is the balancing gel. This is where I need a little help from my friends. I could not find that this was particularly useful to me. This is the astragalus root extract with some emulsifiers added and jojoba oil. So interesting ingredients. Jojoba oil is a good moisturizing oil to include in things, and then you've got the humectants from that astragalus. This is actually not a great moisturizer by itself. It has the strangest consistency. It is so viscous. You almost tug it across the skin. Here, I'm going to show you guys here on my hand. It comes out like honey. See how viscous that is? Oh, that's a big glob. And it's supposed to, you know, be like a last step kind of thing, but it pulls. Can you see that? It pulls on the skin, and it beads up as it's pulling across, and it doesn't stay on my skin. Do you see that? Do you see how it comes off? But yeah, the balancing gel for me was just too sticky and too tacky, and you know, I didn't end up using it. and can't recommend it. I just don't find that it's particularly useful, but comment below on what your experience with it was. Yeah, those are all the products that I tried. There are several others that I have not tried. I haven't tried their oil. There's like a mist toner that I haven't tried. But I really was kind of taken aback by the dramatic improvement in the appearance of my skin doing this complicated routine. Will I continue? Probably not. It's a lot to do on a daily basis. And I can't speak as to who this would be good for, again, because there's not a lot of clinical data to help me answer those questions. I just know that it worked well for me, but with the paucity of clinical data and some clinical data showing that some ingredients do have allergens like the rosemary and of course fragrance, I can't say they're not going to cause problems for you. There's no way for me to predict that, but I really like them, and thank you guys so much for asking me to review this brand. I really have enjoyed it, and I really like it a lot. Comment below on what your experience with it was, and hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.